everybody, welcome back to my crafty den. It's Debbie here, and today I'm going to do a page in my art journal. This is the one that I did the last time, so I'm going to pop it out and I will do the other side of it. So I'm just going to, actually no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put black gesso on here, and all it is I buy the white gesso and the clear gesso when I buy gesso, or I make my own, as you've seen before. And the black gesso, all I've done to make black gesso, and it works quite well for me, is to take some of my clear gesso, the Liquitex surface prep gesso, just the regular stuff, and I have about this much black paint left in this little bottle of Deco Art Black, and then I filled it up with the clear gesso and shook it really well. And yeah, black gesso. It takes me a long time to go through a bottle of that Liquitex because I don't do art every day, and there's no sense in, oh yeah, see the nice coverage you get with that. And the reason I'm using black is because I'm kind of going for, I've got an idea of where I'm going with this one. That doesn't happen very often. All dry, and I'm going to choose my blue paints again. I'm going to get out the blues, the two blues, this one, I'm in love with this blue topaz metallic paint, and it's down to about a little over halfway, and I'm going to be upset if I can't find it again. I'm going to bring out this slate gray and the sky blue, as well as the tropical blue, and some green. Just a little tiny bit of green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some of the blue, maybe 2 dots of this, just 2 dots, and a dot or 2, maybe 3 of the tropical, and some of this. It's called slate gray. There. And I'm going to take a card, and I'm going to drag my paint. So just lightly, I'm going to drag my paint like this. And I'm going to wipe that off of there. Then I'm going to take this green and put the tiniest little dots like this. And I'm going to drag it across too, because I want this kind of there. Now I'm hoping that that will work for what I want it to be. This has to dry before I can do the next layer though, so I'll hit it with the heat gun. Whoops, I don't want it to go through on the back. Hit it with the heat gun and give it a quick dry. Not completely dry, but it's dry enough to work on. And I've got this stencil that's kind of, well, it's kind of like an animal stripe stencil, but I think it will work for what I want it to do. So I'm going to take my sponge and some of that lovely blue acrylic paint, that shiny one, and I'm just going to, I wish they'd stick down and now, but they don't. there. And then I am going to go with a circle. So I need a circle. I wonder if I should cut a circle and kind of use it as a mask. I think I could just do this. I don't think I need to use a mask. I think if I'm careful, I can just do this. So I've got my circle. And I'm going to do my night sky. So back to that black gesso again. And I am going to paint this out so that it has kind of a look, I guess. So I'm going to paint around that circle. Whoops. And then I'm going to, because that's really black, and I kind of want it to be a little bit metallic. I am really crushing on this metallic paint. So I am going to mix a little bit of that blue metallic with some of that black gesso. And it'll matte it down a little bit, I think. And give it that, once again, give it that blue, that iridescent look. I want black, but I want it to have an iridescent look. If I had some kind of black, like a shimmer powder or something, I could probably mix it in with the black and make it do what I want it to do. Oh, I kind of went around that a little bit, so round that out a little bit. So everything I do in this art journal book is basically an experiment. I decided about a year and a half ago that I wanted to learn how to, do a little bit of mixed media collage and paint and things like that. So I decided to make myself an art journal book. I just call it my art book. And I practice in it. I do things in here when I'll have a thought and I'll go, I wonder what this would look like with whatever. And then I do an art journal page. And if it turns out crappy, it doesn't matter. But you get pleasantly surprised sometimes and do something that you really, really like. And in the end, I kind of like everything in some way or another. There'll be some aspect of it that I enjoy. There. Let me see if I can round this out a little bit now. There, kind of round. Not the circle I started with, but I don't think that it should probably be anyway. So that's what I've got so far, and I'm going to let it dry before, there's something on there. I'm going to let it dry before I go on to the next step. While I was waiting for that to dry, I mixed a little bit of white paint with a drop of neon purple and some blue glitter called lapis lazuli. That's what the blue glitter is called. This is a little of that Martha Stewart glitter. So, and then I decided that I didn't like the color of it anyway, but I am going to use my splatter brush and do this anyway. Because I want to. And I just think that the bigger dots, when you do that, the littler ones look like they're further away and the bigger ones look like they're closer. This isn't quite runny enough. There, just getting a little bit more on my paintbrush. Okay, so that's going to be my background. So that's what I'm doing for the background, and then I have an idea for the main theme of this page. And I am going to set this aside and get a few other things out and start working on them. There, I have these puzzle pieces. Let me get you in focus again. And I am going to paint them. I just dabbed some paint on here. I'm just going to paint them out in 3 different colors. So these are kids' puzzle pieces. I don't have to paint both sides of this, but the paint's there. I'm just trying to get rid of it. Okay, so I'm going to set that there to dry and clean this mess up. And I probably put way too much paint on all of them. So then I'm going to paint this green one. I'll probably have to let this dry and put another coat on. So I'll just scooch some of this extra stuff into the palette. Yeah. So that's that one, kind of. And I'll do this yellow. I'll do the same thing right there. I just wanted 3. I didn't pick these colors for any specific reason. I just grabbed 3 different colors. So I'm going to finish painting these, and when they're dry, I'm going to come back and put this together, and I'll show you what my whole thought was. It's dried, and while it dried, I painted 3 puzzle pieces. And my thoughts are, I need some stars, like some real stars on here. So, and I do have this really cute little stencil that came in a paper pad from Die Cuts with a View that I hauled at Michael's. With the, you know, those $4 paper pads that have been on sale? Or not Michael's, at Dollarama. The only thing that was wrong with these stencils is that when you go to use them, not all the little bits are popped out. But yeah, they're pretty good. I found that they've been working anyway. So I'm going to take a makeup sponge, just a cheap dollar store one, and dab it in this paint, which is white with a drop of neon yellow. And I am just going to randomly put them around these edges. I want quite a few because, you know, there's not a whole lot of interest happening on this page. There. Maybe some right up to that edge. And over here too. There. So you're not going to see a whole lot of them because by the time I put these puzzle pieces on here, they're going to cover up quite a bit. But my quote, I found my quote before, I thought of my quote before I started doing the page. And usually I work in the opposite direction. I do a page and then I try to look for a quote that suits it. But this time I went the other way around. I had this quote and I didn't know, I wanted to use the quote, but I didn't know what kind of a page to do. So I thought of puzzles as the pieces come together and make a whole. And I'm going to glue these puzzle pieces down just because they've got they're shiny on the back. I could have gessoed them, but I'm just going to glue them down with a couple of dots of glossy accents because it holds just about it. It's even holding my my gem on my Yeah, I put a tiny bit of glossy accents on there when I did my nails yesterday. It holds everything. So just a couple of dots like that. I don't want to use too much, and it'll hold. So I'm going to put a piece up here in the top, and I'm going to put a piece down here on the bottom. Just a dot at these ends is all I need. And I'm going to put a piece over here on this side. So put a dot of glue on these corners and on those two little ends that stick out. And so I'm just going to stick it like this. And then I am going to put my quote on. And my quote says, "Imagine everyone coming together to make one world beautiful." I like it, and I didn't know, I wanted to do it, but I didn't know what to do. So I'm going to cut this out and stick it down. And by then this will be dry, and I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. So here it is, everybody. It's, I'm going to move you up a little wee bit so that you can see the whole frame. There. So I put the quote on and I outlined it in black. I just handwrite all my quotes. I haven't gotten into buying any of those little word pieces and stuff yet, so I do all my quotes just handwritten. I just print them out. I don't even try to do them pretty or anything. I just print them out and put them on. So I've got the quote on there, and I've got my puzzle pieces on there. I went back and put a few little white dots around just for a touch of white, because the paper I use for my words is always brighter than the page. And I think I might go around the page and do a border. I'm not sure yet, but for the most part this is done. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to share it, that would be great. Don't forget to comment, because I'd like to hear your opinion. And if you like my channel, of course you can subscribe, and it'll be right in this corner right here. So thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.